Welcome back. We're talking reading skills. We've talked about vocabulary, guessing a word in a context, about punctuation and sentence structure. Here is another important reading skill. Looking first of all at prefixes. A prefix is a grammatical term. It refers to a few letters that are not an independent word, not a separate word, but are put at the beginning of words to change their meaning. Here is an example of a prefix, dis, and it means not, as in dissatisfied. When we talk about prefixes, we always talk about suffixes. A suffix is a letter or group of letters added at the end of a word or word part to form another word. Example, the ly in quickly, or the ing in talking. And when we're talking prefixes and suffixes, if we're adding on at the beginning and we're adding on at the end, then we want to know about the root. The root is the base or origin of a word. The root of the word is the basic, meaningful part of a word that is left when any added letters are removed. So let's look at this word, censuring. If I ask some of my learners, especially my younger learners, to look it up, they will look up censuring. And then they'll say to me, don't seem to be able to find this word. Because it's got a suffix, you need to look up censure, not censuring. So you need to know something about the spelling pattern there and to understand that when you look up the word, you look up the root, which means chop off the suffix. I also need you to know the term derivative. A derivative is a word that is made from another word or from a root in the same or another language. So I'm saying, here is a word, make another word. That is a derivative, making one word from another. Let's take this example. To err is human. To forgive, divine. It comes from a poet, Alexander Pope. Now, you might look at that and say, but I don't know the meaning of the word err. So instead of panicking, you're going to use your reading skills. Partly you could say, all right, maybe there's something in the sentence structure, human and divine. So does err mean the opposite of forgive? Here, that's not going to help you, but derivatives will help you. Say to yourself, can I form another word from the word err? Think about adding 2 letters to err, and you will get error. Now, what's an error? A mistake. So now let's guess. To make a mistake is human. To forgive mistakes, obviously, is divine. So yes, we've got to it through using derivatives. There is your word err. There is error. Now let's make the adjective erroneous and the adverb erroneously. But I'm sure if you saw that or that or that in a comprehension test, you'd go, ah! But in fact, it's easy to work out because you know that one. Let's take the word satisfaction. You're going to try to take off the suffix. Now you would know that that T-I-O-N makes a noun. It tells you an abstract noun. But we've also got that F-A-C-T part of it. And then we've got this. This is your root. Now we talked about roots coming from other languages. It is useful to know that that word comes from the Latin and it means enough. So if you say satisfaction, it is the noun which means the state of having enough. Let's work on the derivatives. What is the verb from satisfaction? It is satisfy. What then would be the past tense of that verb? It would be satisfied. So we are adding a suffix. What about making an adjective? We could say, your work is satisfactory. Let's make the adverb from that adjective. If your work is satisfactory, I say you have been working satisfactorily with an IL there. So we've made the adjective and then we've made the adverb. Now let's add on a prefix. We talked about the prefix earlier in the lesson. We can get dissatisfaction. And what did we say dis meant? Not. We can also get dissatisfy, dissatisfied, dissatisfactory, and dissatisfactorily. Just before we end the segment, would you please look at the spelling? When you add a prefix to a word, you normally simply add it on. So you've got dis and satisfaction, 2 S's. More in our next segment.